Hi, this is Damon Hurd with Wildlife Incorporated. I hope this video serves as a good example of why you should donate to our organization. We are a nonprofit wildlife rescue. We survive on donations from the public like you. The money you donate goes back to caring for injured and orphaned wildlife in the Manatee County area. So please make a donation after this video. Thank you. In this video, you'll see me rescue a great blue heron. This heron has a broken left wing, and you can see as I approach that the wing's hanging down to the side. Luckily for me, this great blue heron did not put up much of a fight, and he is a juvenile. He's much smaller than the average heron I'm used to dealing with. We were able to bring this heron in, treat him for his injuries, and eventually release him back to the wild. He had a fractured radius in his left wing. We receive many calls about sick, injured, and orphaned wildlife each day. We try to ask each caller to please stay at the scene until we arrive. That way we know the animal will still be there. If the animal decides to run or fly away, you'll be able to tell us what direction he or she headed. Sometimes the caller can't stay at the scene, so we ask that you do the next best thing, which is placing a basket or a box over top of the animal until we arrive. In this case, we have a barred owl that has been hit by a car. He has a broken right wing, and lucky for me, the caller placed a basket over top of the animal until I got there. Otherwise, I may have driven 40 minutes to pick up an injured animal, and it could have been long gone. This is a large tegu lizard Brian Pavlina and myself dug out of a burrow on Easter Day 2013 near Brandon, Florida. These are an invasive species to Florida, and they're on their way to becoming a bigger problem than the pythons. This has to be the worst part of my job, which is taking a baby away from the parents. In this case, we have a young sandhill crane with 2 broken legs. Unfortunately, we must remove the baby from the parents. They don't understand that we're trying to help, so they act aggressively. I was able to capture the young sandhill crane and bring him in. Sadly, he died shortly after in our care, awaiting surgery to repair his injured legs. Here you'll see one of my good friends, Greg Hebert, holding a banded water snake. This snake is commonly mistaken for the cottonmouth or the water moccasin here in Florida. These are a non-venomous species, and they're no threat to humans whatsoever. They're actually really good for the environment. These 2 young stilts were brought to us in spring of 2013. We later introduced another stilt to the pair. We raised all 3 together until they were ultimately released back to the wild, which is always our goal, to return sick, injured, and orphaned native wildlife back to the wild. I rescued this young bobcat from a golf course in Parrish, Florida, where he was abandoned by his mother in spring of 2013. We later moved him to another facility on the east coast of Florida, where he will be raised with another bobcat, and at some point will be released back to the wild. Here, Brian Pavlina, volunteer biologist for Wildlife Incorporated, shows you a Cuban night anole. These small reptiles are not native to Florida, but we can commonly find them now in South Florida. In this case, we captured him in Miami near the border of the Everglades. Unfortunately, one of the other common calls we receive on a regular basis is for abandoned exotic pets. In this video, I'm rescuing a ball python that was left to die in an aquarium on the front porch of a home that had been vacated several weeks prior to the filming of this video. It was very hot out at the time, and the snake had no food or water. It's very lucky to be alive. We took the snake in, eventually transported him to Everglades Alligator Farm, where he lives to this day. It doesn't always end this way, though. Many of these pets are left to die, and they do. Others end up in horrible condition before we finally rescue them. Here you'll see a great blue heron laying in a swimming pool. We had just shot him with a net launching device from the balcony of this home. We decided to catch this great blue heron after the homeowner had called and complained that he had fishing line wrapped around his body, which he did. She was worried he was eventually going to get tangled in the mangroves or the trees and end up dying from it. So we caught him, we pulled him out of the pool quickly, and we ended up cutting the net off his body because it was too tangled to remove. We were afraid of stressing him out too much. We removed it, checked for more line, hooks, things like that. Nothing there, so we decided to release him. But the point is here, we need to make sure to be responsible fishermen and not leave our trash out there in the water or on the beaches. If you snag a bird, make sure to pull them in, remove the hook, or bring them to a center like ours, and we'll do it for you. Be responsible. In this video, you'll see me remove a dead sandhill crane from the side of a busy road. The reason I'm doing this is because the living mate is standing guard next to its dead mate's body. They often do this to mourn the loss of their mate, sometimes to protect them when they're injured or down on the ground not knowing if they're dead. So it's in the best interest of the living one to mourn the dead in a safer location. Otherwise that one will end up getting hit by a car as well. So I remove the mate's body and take it to a safer location where the other mate is unlikely to get hit by a car. Now, though it looks like I'm moving fast in this video, I was actually going quite slow so the mate could follow me and see where I was taking the body. Now, this is very unfortunate that we have to do this, but it not only protects the living sandhill crane, but it prevents me from having to come out and rescue another injured animal. So in the long run, it works for everybody. Here you'll see me searching for a peahen that is on the loose. Now, those are obviously not native to this area, and the office park noticed the peahen running around the parking lot. It probably escaped from a local farm or somebody dumped it out there, but most likely she wasn't going to survive long. Bobcat, coyotes, fox, and many other animals live in that area. She would have been picked off pretty quickly. She was also underweight and very dirty looking, so she was already in bad condition. We grabbed her, brought her in, and we found her a home at a farm where she lives to this day. And in the last video here, you have Larry Roberts and myself. We got called to come out and rescue an iguana that was about to run into traffic. When we arrived, it looked pretty real. I thought it was real on the side of the road in the grass. Quickly, we found that it was not real. It was a toy monitor lizard that somebody had left on the side of the road as a joke. We wrestled it anyways. We decided to keep it, and it's now on display at Mixon Fruit Farms in East Bradenton. I thank everybody for watching. I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. And I'll have new videos soon. Thanks.